It is 1 p.m. and time for lunch. You place your food into the microwave, completely normal and completely innocent, right? But while that food is being reheated, something else is happening inside it that nobody talks about. Something you cannot see, you cannot smell, and would never suspect from a meal that looked perfectly fine just a minute ago. India today has over 77 million diabetics, 300 million people living with some form of digestive disorder and cardiovascular disease, and is now the single largest cause of death in the country. We always look for big reasons: genetics, stress, sedentary lifestyle, and yes, those matter. But sometimes diseases do not arrive from the big things we ignore. They come from small things we do every single day without ever questioning them. Reheating food is one of those things. So today I want to answer a few questions that most people never thought to ask. Which foods silently change their chemistry when reheated? Which ones develop toxins that no amount of heat can destroy? And if you must reheat them, what is the correct way to do it so you're not unknowingly harming yourself meal after meal? But here is what nobody tells you. Reheating does not just warm your food. Depending on what the food is, it can trigger chemical reactions, activate bacterial toxins, and create compounds your body was never designed to handle. And the most unsettling part, you cannot see it, you cannot smell it, and the food looks perfectly fine. So what is actually happening? Your kitchen temperature stays between 20 to 60 degrees Celsius for most of the day. Food scientists call this a danger zone. The temperature range where bacteria don't just survive, they multiply aggressively. Some bacteria produce spores and a protective shell that survives normal cooking temperature. These spores go dormant, wait, and when the food cools down again, they wake up and start producing toxins. Here is the part that changes everything. Some of the toxins are completely heat stable, meaning even when you reheat the food to boiling point, the toxin remains fully active. You have essentially heated poison and served it hot. And some foods don't even involve bacteria at all. They involve chemistry. Certain compounds like nitrates, proteins, and fats break down into entirely new molecules under repeated heating. Some are inflammatory. Some are directly linked to long-term organ damage. So let's start with food number one. Food number one is rice. Rice is something almost every Indian household cooks in bulk and reheats without a second thought. And this is exactly why it is the most dangerous one on the list. Raw rice, straight from the bag, naturally carries spores of a bacterium called as Bacillus cereus. Think of these spores like tiny seeds. They are not active, they are not causing any harm. They are simply sitting there waiting for the right conditions to wake up. Now, when you cook rice, the boiling water kills most active bacteria. But these spores are different. They are built to survive extreme conditions. High heat does not destroy them. They simply stay dormant inside your cooked rice, completely undetected. Once your cooked rice starts cooling down and sits at room temperature, these dormant spores sense a change in the environment and wake up. They germinate, meaning they come out of their protective shell and become active bacteria. And like any living organism, they multiply. Within just a few hours at room temperature, what started as a handful dormant spores become millions of active bacteria inside your rice. As these bacteria multiply, they release toxins directly into the food around them. These toxins are heat stable. This means they are not going to get destroyed by heat the way bacteria are. So when you reheat the rice, the next morning, the high temperature kills any remaining bacteria, but the toxins, they are already released. They survive completely. They stay fully active inside your hot, freshly reheated rice. You're not reheating food at that point. You're reheating toxins. And because this toxin has no smell, no color, and no taste, your rice will look and smell perfectly fine. There is absolutely no way to detect it without lab testing. So when you eat this rice, within 30 minutes to 6 hours, the toxin triggers the lining of your gut, causing severe nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. This is called Bacillus cereus food poisoning, and rice is the most documented cause worldwide. Now the most important question. When exactly does rice become dangerous? The risk is not in reheating itself. How long your rice sat outside the fridge before you refrigerated it. If cooked rice is left at room temperature for more than 2 hours, Bacillus cereus has already multiplied and released its toxins. Reheating that rice will not save it. The damage is already done inside the food. The safe practice is very simple. As soon as your rice cools down slightly after cooking, within 1 or 2 hours maximum, transfer it to a sealed container and refrigerate it immediately and reheat it only once. If your rice was left on the counter overnight or kept warm inside a cooker for many hours, do not reheat it. Just discard it. No meal is worth what follows. Second food that you should never reheat is fish. Now let's talk about something that makes this one completely different from rice. With rice, the danger came from bacteria multiplying over time. With fish, the danger begins the moment the fish is not kept cold enough. And unlike rice, you don't even need to leave it out overnight. A few hours at the wrong temperature is enough. Here is what happens inside fish that most people have never heard of. Fish, especially varieties of tuna, mackerel, sardines and bangda, naturally contain high amount of amino acid called as histidine. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and histidine is completely harmless when the fish is fresh and properly stored. Your body actually needs histidine. It is normal part of nutrition. But when the fish is left outside refrigeration, even for a brief amount of time, certain bacteria that live naturally on fish skin and gut start breaking down this histidine. They convert it into a completely different compound called histamine. And histamine is not nutrition. Histamine is a chemical that your own immune system produces during allergic conditions. It is the same compound responsible for itching, swelling, and discomfort you feel during an allergy attack. Now, here is what makes this uniquely dangerous. Histamine, once formed inside fish, cannot be destroyed by heat, not by frying, not by boiling, and not by pressure cooking as well. You can cook that fish at 200 degrees and histamine remains completely intact and fully active. So when you reheat fish that was not stored correctly, you're consuming a dose of histamine directly. Your body absorbs it through the gut and it enters the bloodstream rapidly. What happens next is striking. Within 10 to 60 minutes of eating, you may experience flushing of the face, a burning sensation in the mouth, a throbbing headache, rash across your skin, nausea and diarrhea. Many people who experience this assume that they are having sudden allergic reaction to fish. But they are not allergic to fish at all. Your body is responding to histamine that was formed inside improperly stored fish. This condition is called as scombroid poisoning, and it is one of the most commonly misdiagnosed forms of food illness in the world. And the most deceptive part of all this, the fish looks normal, it smells normal, it tastes normal, there are no visible signs that anything is wrong. So when exactly does fish becomes dangerous to reheat? The entire risk sits in what happened to the fish before it reached your stove. If fresh fish was left at room temperature for more than 1 to 2 hours before cooking, histamine may have already been formed. If cooked fish was left outside the fridge before being stored, more histamine may have been formed during that window. Reheating does nothing to reverse either of these situations. The safe practice is straightforward. Buy fish fresh and refrigerate it immediately and cook it on the same day whenever possible. If you're storing cooked fish, refrigerate it within an hour of cooking and consume it within 24 hours. And when reheating, ensure that it is thoroughly hot throughout. But remember, proper reheating only matters if the storage before it was correct. If there is any doubt about how long the fish sat outside at any stage, do not reheat it. Now, here is where this list takes a turn, because the next food is the one every doctor and nutritionist tells you to eat. And they are right. But there is one specific thing about it that nobody mentions. Third food that you should never reheat is spinach and leafy greens. This one surprises most of the people because spinach has always been the good guy. Popeye, iron, immunity, and weight loss. Every health article you have ever read has told you to eat more spinach and more leafy greens. And that is all true. Fresh spinach is genuinely excellent for you. But there is a specific thing that happens to spinach when it's cooked and it is reheated. Something that most Indian households do it every single day without realizing it, and it is worth understanding completely. Spinach and other leafy greens like methi, bathua, and beet greens naturally absorb nitrates from the soil they grow in. And this is just how these plants are built. They pull nitrogen compounds from the earth as a part of their normal growth. When you eat fresh spinach, these nitrates enter your body and are mostly harmless. In fact, some research even suggests that dietary nitrates from vegetables support cardiovascular health at normal levels. The problem begins with heat. When spinach is cooked, the heat breaks down its cellular structure and releases these nitrates more freely into the dish. At this stage, things are relatively fine. But when that cooked spinach is left to cool at room temperature, bacteria naturally present in the food begins converting these released nitrates into a different compound that is called as nitrite. Nitrites are a step further concerning chemical pathway. When you reheat that spinach, especially at high temperatures, these nitrites can react with proteins and amino acids present in the dish to form compounds called as nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are what makes this conversion important. They're classified as probable carcinogens, meaning compounds that have demonstrated the ability to damage DNA and promote abnormal cell growth in repeated scientific studies. The same concern around nitrosamines is why processed meats like sausages and packaged cold cuts have been flagged by health organizations worldwide. Now, an important thing to say here honestly. A single reheating of properly stored palak paneer is unlikely to cause serious harm to a healthy adult. The risk builds with repetition, with high temperature reheating, and with prolonged storage before reheating. There is also one group for whom this is not a minor concern at all: infants and small children. Their bodies are far more sensitive to nitrates than adults. Even small amounts can interfere with how their blood carries oxygen, a condition called methemoglobin anemia. This is why reheated spinach should never be given to babies or very young children under any circumstances. For everyone else, the practical approach is this: cook spinach fresh as often as possible. If you do store it, refrigerate it immediately after cooking because cold temperatures significantly slow down the bacterial conversion of nitrates to nitrites. If you need to reheat it, do it once, gently, and serve it immediately. The greens themselves are never the problem. What you do with them after cooking is. But if spinach surprised you, the next one will genuinely shock you because the danger has nothing to do with the food itself. Fourth food that you should never reheat is potatoes. Potatoes might be the most unexpected entry on this list because unlike fish or spinach, potatoes have no naturally occurring problematic compounds. They have no histidine, no nitrates, and no bacterial spores embedded in them. By themselves, potatoes are completely harmless. The danger here is not inside the potato. The danger is created by something that we do with potatoes after it is cooked. Something that is so common and so specific that most people have never once thought about it. Let's talk about the aluminium foil. Across Indian households and restaurants, baked or roasted potatoes are often wrapped in a foil while cooking and then left unwrapped as they cool down. It looks neat, it keeps them warmer for longer, it feels like a good food practice. But here is what is actually happening inside that wrapped potato. When potato is sealed inside aluminium foil, the foil creates a physical barrier that cuts off oxygen from outside. This low oxygen environment is the precise condition that a bacterium called as Clostridium botulinum needs to survive and grow. Under normal open air conditions, Clostridium botulinum cannot thrive because oxygen is present. But seal a warm, moist, low acidic food like potato inside a foil and leave it at room temperature, and you have created the ideal incubator for this bacteria. Clostridium botulinum then produces one of the most potent toxins known to science. It is called as botulinum toxin. You may have heard it in a cosmetic context, Botox, but in food poisoning, it is the same toxin that attacks human nervous system. It blocks the signals that your nerves send to your muscles. It can cause blurred vision, difficulty in swallowing, muscle weakness, and in severe cases, paralysis and life-threatening breathing failure. This condition is called as botulism. What makes this particularly deceptive is that a potato sitting in a foil looks completely normal from the outside. It does not smell different, it does not look spoiled. There is no warning sign whatsoever. And reheating does not reliably solve this problem. While botulinum toxin is technically destroyed at high temperatures held for sufficient time, normal household reheating, a quick microwave warm up, or a few minutes in the pan often does not reach the temperature or the duration needed throughout the center of a dense foil wrapped potato to guarantee safety. This is not a theoretical risk either. There are documented outbreaks of botulism linked directly to foil wrapped baked potatoes that were cooked and then either eaten later or reheated. So, what is the right approach? If you are baking or roasting potatoes in foil, remove the foil immediately once they come out of the oven. Do not let them cool down while it is still wrapped. If you're storing them, transfer them to an open container and refrigerate within 2 hours. So now the last food that you should never reheat is cooking oil and fried foods. Everything on this list so far has been about acute risk. Eat the wrong rice and you feel it within a few hours. Eat histamine-loaded fish and your face flushes almost immediately. Those are immediate identifiable reactions. This one is different, and in many ways, it is one of the most serious entry on the list precisely because there is no immediate signal. No nausea, no rash, no stomach cramp to warn you. The damage is slow, invisible, and cumulative. It builds quietly inside your body over months and years before it shows up as something a doctor can diagnose. We are talking about reheating cooking oil and the fried foods that are made in it. Cooking oils are made up of long chains of carbon and hydrogen atoms called as fatty acids. Oils rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids like sunflower, soybean, safflower oil, which are amongst the most commonly used in Indian cooking, have multiple double bonds in their fatty acid chains. These double bonds are chemically reactive. They are the weak points in the molecule. When you heat these oils to high temperatures, those double bonds begin breaking down. The oil starts oxidizing, reacting with oxygen in the surrounding air, and every time the same oil is reheated, the oxidation goes further. The fatty acid chains break apart and generate new chemical compounds. Among the most concerning are aldehydes, specifically acrolein, 4-hydroxy-nonenal, and 4-hydroxy-2-hexenol. These are not minor byproducts. They are biologically active molecules that enter your body through fried food in degraded oil and even through fumes inhaled while cooking. Inside your body, these aldehydes cause oxidative stress, damaging cell membranes, interfering with DNA, and triggering chronic inflammation. Research has linked repeated consumption of these compounds to elevated LDL cholesterol, arterial damage, liver injury, and higher cardiovascular disease risk. Repeatedly heated oil also develops higher trans fat content with each cycle, adding a layer of long-term health harm. Now, this is where the Indian context becomes important to address honestly. At home, many households reheat the same kadai oil for 2 to 3, sometimes 4 times across a week. But the far larger exposure for most Indians is street food and restaurant kitchens, where oil is kept continuously hot for hours and reused across multiple days. By the time it reaches you, that oil has gone through dozens of reheating cycles. The color has darkened, the smoke point has been dropped, and the concentration of harmful compounds has multiplied significantly. ICMR and FSSAI have both flagged repeatedly heated oil as public health concern and advise discarding oil that is darkened, begin foaming, or developed a rancid smell. At home, avoid reheating the same oil for frying multiple times. If you have fried food left over, reheat it in oven or air fryer rather than dropping it back into hot oil. The damage from this one does not announce itself. That is exactly what makes it worth taking seriously. So this was about the food that you should never reheat again and again. And if you want me to talk about any other foods, let me know in the comment section below. And as we always say, it's never just a diet, it's always a lifestyle. So stay healthy, stay fit, stay grateful, and stay blessed.